All right, this is the Minnetrista City Council meeting of March 6, 2023, at 7 o'clock. I would like to call the meeting to order. Everyone could join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am Kathleen Ruffkin, acting mayor. To my left is council member Ann McGregor and Claudia Lacey. And then Mayor Whalen and Peter Vickery are unable to be here tonight. Then after Claudia, we have Allison Fowski with WSB Engineering and Gary Peters, our Director of Public Works, and our City Clerk, Don Motzkow, is here. To my right, we have Jasper Krugel, our City Administrator, our Finance Director, Brian Graham, and David Abel, our Community Development Director. Sarah Sansala, our attorney with Kennedy & Graven, is here, and our Chief of Police, Chief Falls, is here. Do I have any changes to the agenda? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 3-0. And next on our agenda, we have a special presentation from our Hennepin County Commissioner, Kevin Anderson.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and present a little bit about what Hennepin County has been up to in this last year and a little bit about what we'll be up to in the upcoming year. As a way of introduction, my name is Kevin Anderson. I'm the Hennepin County Commissioner serving District 7. I was elected in 2021. Here's some information about roles that I serve in the county and some of my background. I like to start out kind of with some highlights of what we've been doing and what I've been focused on. Primarily when I took office, I wanted to focus on investing in our infrastructure, expanding our broadband infrastructure in particular, getting better access to mental health services, and then supporting our veteran community. This is going to kind of outline some of the accomplishments we've had over the last 2 years, but more importantly this last year. So broadband expansion is one of the things that I think we have been pretty successful in, and in partnership with Minnetrista in particular. Last year we had an agreement with Minnetrista and Hennepin County and Midco. It's exciting to see that project moving forward, and I'm looking forward to having those homes connected in the near future. We've been doing more of that work through the county, signing letters of support so that the border-to-border broadband grants can be successful. We've been successful in the cities of Corcoran and Rogers. We're hoping to be successful in the city of Independence. So we're keep on finding ways of investing in our communities, because we know that internet service isn't a luxury item. These last few years have really made it clear that it is a necessity of modern life. So happy to continue doing that work. Another big part of the infrastructure that I've been working on has been our road infrastructure, and last year I'm really proud that I was able to work with my colleagues on the board to fill in the final funding for a 610 project, which is in Maple Grove. And this project, as the Public Works person knows, we know road projects takes a long time to get going and to get completed. To find all the funding partners and to work through all of that. This project has been 50 years in the making, and to be able to bring the county to the table to have the final funding was it was a good experience to be able to bring us there. Happy I was able to be a part of that. There we go. So we have A number of things that as a commissioner I get to be involved in. Hennepin County is connected to so many different programs that impact our community, from our Productive Day program that connects justice-involved individuals with job training and doing services like deconstruction service and construction, tree planting, many of which happens in District 7, which is kind of nice. I was also able to provide some comments on the opening of County Road 92 over 12, which was another great project out this way. And you know, we'll just continue to be a partner in projects like this and in the programs that Hennepin County offers. If there's ever an opportunity to that we can be more present in your community, I'm happy to be a resource to find those ways. There we go. Some of the other work that I've been very proud of being able to do has been our work with our veterans. 2 years ago, I started working with an organization called MACV, the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans, and we started out with kind of a small pilot project. We sold some tax forfeited property to this organization, and they converted it into affordable assisted housing for veterans who had been experiencing homelessness or had barriers to housing. Currently in Hennepin County, we have about 135-ish veterans who are on the registry identified that don't have housing. So every home that we can help provide gets us closer to a functional zero of homelessness among veterans. And that's one of the things that I would really like to try to champion. In this last year, we were able to purchase a hotel in Robbinsdale and sell that property to the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans so that they can produce even more affordable and assisted housing for veterans. I think this is going to be a really great project when it's all completed. Hennepin County has been doing a lot of work in converting some of these spaces to hotel spaces for individual housing. We've purchased several hotels and converted it into SROs, or single residence occupancy, as part of our housing continuum strategy of making sure that we have enough housing stock for everybody. We aren't there yet. There's still a lot more housing need that exists in every community across Hennepin County, but this is some of the work that we're trying to do. Last year, I also convened several mental health roundtables. My specific area of focus was school-based mental health and trying to make sure that we had, that I had a better understanding of the needs facing our youth and the roles that Hennepin County could play in addressing that. So I convened several roundtables, including mental health professionals, school personnel and administration, parents of students who have lived experience, and then first responders, because so often our first responders, our police, our fire, end up being the people who are turned to first when there's a mental health emergency. All of these meetings culminated into in a public town hall that was pretty well attended. Hope to do more learning and find out more ways that we can partner kind of across the service continuum to make sure that where people are finding a need with their mental health, that we can better coordinate resources and get them to the people who need them. I forgot to mention in my veterans work, part of the roundtable, I convened a specific summit on veterans mental health as well, bringing together county resource officers, the Minnesota, the federal, the VA, as well as several local veterans organizations, the American Legion, activist organizations that help address issues like food insecurity among veterans, so that we could also find a better way of identifying where the gaps are in the existing services that are offered and how we can better fill those gaps and find ways of meeting those needs. On a kind of more fun note, one of the things that Hennepin County gets to do every year is fund our youth sports grant program. District 7 continues to be pretty well represented in the grant funding. We have several that are in this, kind of in the western suburbs, and more were just approved last week, or actually are going to be approved. They were approved in committee last week, and we'll be approving them in our board meeting tomorrow. So as there are opportunities in Minnetrista, make sure that we do this yearly, and there's different levels of grant funding that can help meet youth in your community. In 2021, I also offered an amendment to this program to expand the eligibility to the arts, so that if there's an arts program within your community that focuses on youth, we have a separate pot of money that can help fund that, particularly aimed at schools, because so often the arts are the first thing that gets cut from the school budget. And I think any way that we can engage youth and keep their minds occupied and find ways of keeping them engaged with their community, the better off our youth are going to be in our whole community. Some of the things that have happened last year, specifically for Minnetrista, we expanded our embedded social worker program. At this point, it's still a shared resource among several departments, but we are continuing to try to make sure that that program is expanding and the resources are more available as we're finding effective need and meeting those needs. We have several agreements with landowners for conservation easement in the city. There was a tree canopy grant that allows for more trees to be planted. This was with YMCA North. And then we'll continue, obviously, to be doing our normal roadway maintenance that we always try to do. And if there's ever any priority projects on county roads, feel free to use my office as a conduit to express them. Always want to be a resource. I know our public works staff is planning a biannual check-in with all of the cities, so be on the lookout for staff check-ins with the cities to make sure that they better understand all the priorities that are happening really across the county. But if I have a good understanding, I can advocate for it as well. Last year, we also approved our budget. Hennepin County has a really large budget. And we approved a 3.5% increase to our levy, which in the initial conversations, we had proposed a 4.5% levy, but we were able to cut that back down to a 3.5%, keeping it well under inflation pressures that we've all been facing. With staffing, costs of construction, everything has been pushing our costs up, so really this represents a pretty flat budget and maybe a slight decrease in some areas, but we've been able to still maintain our service levels and find innovative ways of meeting our constituents' needs. So that's my presentation. Happy to answer any questions, and as always, I'm always a phone call away or an email away if there's ever anything that you need my help with.
Thank you.
Commissioner Anderson, can you tell me, I don't know if it was up here at any point, but regarding the veterans work, I really, that's an interest of mine as well.
Yeah.
And how much of the budget goes towards, housing these veterans that need housing versus, regarding the infrastructure. I don't know how much of the infrastructure is charging stations, but that's something I like. People matter more than charging stations to me. So, how do you Can you speak to that?
Sure. So, I mean, they are very separate budgets, and
Very
much
separate.
of our human resources that we do is based on how we work with other programs to get things done. So much of our human resources is conduit financing or reimbursement model based on Medicare, Medicaid reimbursement. So the veterans piece specifically has been done, like the housing of them, has been done through our HRA, or Housing and Redevelopment. We were able to purchase a lot of properties and do a lot more funding of building due to ARP funding, and I think we put over $50 million into to housing development. That's on top of the normal. I think every year we allocate, I'm gonna probably get the number wrong, but somewhere in the neighborhood of $150 million every year to supportive housing and housing strategy. Housing has been very often one of our top, like, single item things that Hennepin County is trying to fund. Much of this is obviously pass-through financing. We get money from the Housing and Urban Development from the feds. We get some state funding for this. We try to make sure that all of that money is going out as quickly and efficiently as possible. And to give some context, I don't think we haven't allocated new money that I'm aware of to, like, charging infrastructure. We are trying to encourage it in building and trying to get this, because the better prepared we are for what's coming at us, the better off we'll be. And if we can do it on the build side, we can do it cheaper. But I don't think that we've been allocating specific money to charging infrastructure outside of our regular improvements that we do anyways. So I can find and do a double check and get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Maybe, Mr., you might have said it. Does Hennepin County have any special standards for internet coverage?
So we don't have, well, we want every household connected. That's, and connection right now means 25 megabit download speed and a 3 megabit upload speed.
Okay.
Which that is the kind of the baseline standard. I would argue that there's much better that we could be trying to get to, but those are standards based, I think those are FCC standards, or maybe it's Minnesota broadband standards. So that's what Minnesota has said, that's what the level of service you need to have in order to be considered broadband or high-speed broadband.
Okay. I got another question,
Yeah.
sorry. The youth sports grant,
Yeah.
it only looked like you had a couple communities up there. Were there a lot more than that, or is that all of
There
them?
was a few more now. That was last year's funding. I don't have this year's funding, and there was quite a few more this year in District 7. So I know Maple Grove got another round. Loretto got another round. I don't have the exact list, but I know it is published.
So what did you base the award on?
So we partner with Minnesota Youth Sports Foundation to evaluate the application. So they have an application process that all projects can be submitted to, and they do the evaluation based on number of youth served,
I see.
the community involvement in developing it, if there's a local match, if there's a municipal partner to it. There are certain criterias, and there's also, they have staff available to help municipalities who have submitted that maybe didn't score well this time, better understand, like, what could be done to improve that. But I will say, we largely, like, by the time it comes to us, we have tried very hard to trust the process and not politicize
Mhm.
how it gets done, because getting us in the middle of it never ends up well. So,
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and again, if I can ever be of help, please do reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We do not have anyone signed up for persons to be heard. So next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Are there any changes to the consent agenda? Okay. All right. On the consent agenda, we have item A, approve city council special meeting minutes from February 28th, 2023. B, approve sanitary sewer maintenance agreement with Overline and Son, Inc., resolution number 2823. C, resolution number 2823, approve claims. Resolution D, consent agenda item D, resolution number 2923, approve the conditional use permit for ground mounted solar at 4885 County Road 151. And consent agenda item E, resolution number 30-23, approve consent to purchase 5910 Game Farm Road East by Westonka Public Schools. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 3-0. We do not have any public hearings tonight, and we do not have any business items tonight. Do we have any staff reports?
I do not have any staff reports at this moment, other than the next meeting that we have is on March 20th. That'll start. We'll have a strategic planning portion that starts at 3:30. That'll go from 3:30 till about 5:30, and we'll roll into the work session at that time, and then roll into the regular meeting. And just a fair warning: the regular meeting will be it's a large agenda, so it'll be a longer meeting. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Any council reports?
Nope.
Nobody? All right. With that, we do not have anything else. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Meeting is adjourned.